Yeah, wind and, well, the rain. Welcome back to Dat Build. Today I'm actually going to attempt to do something. There is zero guarantees in this situation. I don't know if that's sounding up, but that is actually rain outside, and quite a bit of it as well, but it comes in waves, and I'm keeping my eye on the radar. It's mostly going to pass, but there's still spicks and specks which are directly impacting where I live. But what I am going to try and tackle to do is actually use one of the new tools, which I just opened upside down, completely upside down. Use one of the new tools I actually bought, and I've seen these used quite a bit on Facebook videos and stuff like that. You kind of stumble across them, but more or less it is a little two-pronged trigger gun basically, and then you have all these little staple bits as such. So you more or less put one into there, it heats it up, and then you sandwich the plastic together, and it just basically forms a bond. So instead of just actually plastic welding that seam, you're actually reinforcing it. So that's pretty much what I've actually got in mind for the guard, to actually fix that. I'll be doing an an interior repair. So I'll be removing the wheel, guard liner, and then of course getting inside, kind of pushing the actual pieces together, and then of course using the gun to seam stitch it up. Hopefully it works. I've basically got to finesse the actual plastic into place. The actual bracketry itself, which connects that to the body, I've got to try and jig that and push it back into shape somehow. Realistically, I should just take the guard completely off, but that's a fair bit of effort involved, and by the same time as well, it's not really going to help me any further in using this. I think I'm better off actually putting this into place, sandwiching it in, and then trying to actually fix the bracketry, because at least that way it'll hold the pieces in place. If I take it off and try to contort the brackets, it may actually make things a lot worse. In my mind anyway. At the end of the day, the guard will eventually be replaced, so it's not really that big an issue. It is just as a temporary fix until I can find something. The little bit that's kind of sticking up in the air, for that, just more or less heat gun and just concentrate it there. Try to actually heat that spot up particular and just kind of push it back down, and then of course staple it into place. Doing well here, making a lot of noise. But anyway, that's more or less what I have in mind. So yeah, just like the weather, which completely screwed me that day trying to record the very first episode of Banana Bug, this rain is no different. But let's see how we go. So first thing I'll be doing is removing the guard liner, basically Torx 20 bit again. Luckily this piece will come right out rather easily. So yeah, there's not much of anything holding that in. One down the bottom, and yep, there we go. So yeah, that is on its own these days. Oh well. So I can actually see inside now, and this little bracket here is simply just bent out of shape, which is why the guard's not really sitting flush, which isn't too bad. That's should be an easy rectification. Just unbolt this bottom section, bend that bracket back into shape, and should just pop back on. Otherwise, I think everything's sitting else reasonably well. Can't really see much of this back piece because of this plate that's in here. I might for now simply just fix the cracks, because they line up anyway reasonably well. And if I can get them back into shape at least, then I can later on sort out that, just take the entire thing off. But so long as it's not like this at the moment, that's pretty much the main thing. So for these bolts under here, it's actually a T30 this time, so a little bit larger. Let's try to locate. Yep. Oh, they're in there. Okay, a bit more leverage. Okay, so that's one. I think half a washer. Okay, number two. So now that's free again, apart from the side section here where it's also a part of. But when I actually put that back into place there, the guard on the side actually does line up, so that's quite good. So I'm just going to take out this little bracket. It's a bit easier just removing it in comparison to try and fix it on the car, especially given it's quite firm. It's not a flimsy piece of metal. There's 10mm nut on this one. Could have used a socket wrench, but I chose to do it the difficult way. Okay. No, it is tied in. Didn't think it was. Yep, no it isn't. There's simply another bolt right underneath. Yay. Also a 10mm socket. There we go. There goes the phone again. Alright, now, there we go. Yummy! Okay, so yeah, that's a bit bent out of shape. Should be reasonably straightforward as to getting it back into the proper position. Just move this part, flatten this section out here. So it shouldn't be too bad to actually sort. So I'll go and bend this back into shape and then whack it back on the car. I'm going to clamp it about there. And I'm just going to try and, oh, a bit of force needed. Ooh, that's not a good sound. Okay, try to, probably better on a vise, but I don't really have a vise. Kind of do. Nearly there. Just that top section now, I reckon. Okay. Yeah, it's still a bit wonky, but I mean, the bottom section isn't too bad. It's mostly about getting this in the right shape and then that screw into the body. So from there, I mean, yeah, it's a tiny bit wonky. I could probably straighten that out a little bit more. Go from the back here and twist it that way. That's looking pretty good, I reckon. So that's nice and straight. Reasonably straight. Okay, so now this section here we want to prop back up. So if I grab this and do this upside down. Okay. Ooh, now I've got to be careful not to bend that other section again now, so. How's that look? Whoa. It's getting there, just a bit more I reckon. Probably, that's looking pretty good there for that angle. That's looking pretty straight I reckon. Well, straighter than it was after I binned it. So I reckon that'll work pretty well. So let's just see if everything lines up a bit better. Okay, so that's a no. Why is it a no? Just bent it the wrong way, it would seem. It needs to actually go further back. So how's this going under here? This bracket though, I think maybe, because when it actually hit here, it kind of bent this, it pushed everything out. Possibly the very end of the rocker here is slightly bent out of shape. So even though I've straightened this, and it's straight as it should be, it's not as straight as it needs to be, or shaped as it needs. Shaped as it needs to be. So that being the case, I'm basically going to, don't know if that's up on audio, but there's a major storm coming. Yeah. Okay. I've made this a bit longer now, so the actual height itself a little bit taller. See if this does anything. Okay, that is sitting a little better actually. It's still a little bit off, so I think this is supposed to be dead straight. Yep. This is supposed to be dead straight, not bent at all by the seams of it. So I'll make this completely straight now. Oh man. Okay. Not perfect, but anyway. It's just there to support a guard. Yep. Wow. That's how much of a beating it took. That is supposed to be straight. Ooh, okay. Let's try and get it as straight as possible then. Damn. That's insane. Okay. And I can't believe it took that much of a hit. I suppose. Yep, righto. It really did come across as needing to have like a kind of a bend in it, but nope. A little bit straighter. Yeah, let's run with that. So nice straight line now. Let's see if that works. Wow, that's that says something. No, it needs to be pulled out a bit more, I think. Okay, so let's pull this a bit further. There we go. Okay, so I've basically made this a little bit longer as well, so it just kind of sits a bit further around. See if this works. Okay, that feels good to begin with. There we go. Yes. Yes. We're in. I'm getting wet. Ah, rain. Yep, there we go. Ooh, yep, I'm certainly getting wet now. Okay, good. So now this just gets pulled in. Nice. That's good. I like that. Yep, that's my cue. Moving in. There we go. Just pushed in a bit further so it just seats in more so. I think that's pretty much the right line, I believe. It's a little pushed out, but I think that's due to the ones in here, which at this point in time I'm not touching. I don't think I'm getting much of anything done today. Just give me a second, I'm just going to consider my options here. Not bad. Had better. I like the ones where you get really big crack and then it kind of resides in. No, it's like a belly grumble, that one. I do need to get that wheel back on though. At minimum. That little piece at the bottom can stay. not bad. That little piece of the bottom can stay off for now, I think. Not really hurting anything. Just going to send a bit of water up inside the guide. Yeah, I think I might just whack the wheel back on and call it for this one. So, how to fix a bracket, yay! How I wish I was back in that shed. If only there was more space. Or if I had a garage, that'd be so much simpler. So that didn't work out, and it's still raining. So, I don't know. Can't do really much about it. At the end of the day, it's out of my hands. Just going to keep raining. So, in the meantime, at least for now, that guard does sit a lot better. That bracket, I'm so surprised how badly out of shape it was, but I suppose with the angle and everything like that, it just took it, and the wheel might have also contributed, pushing it back with that chunk of guard. Here we go. That chunk of guard. Sayonara. Yeah, you can see the dark section here. I don't know whether that shows up at all, but that strip there, you can see the tires impacted and it lives that way. So when the car came down, it kind of pushed on there, pushed that entire guard out. But yeah, the guard liner obviously needs to be replaced as well. You know, same sort of thing, guard with the liner. Get that bolt, put that back down there. But yeah, having a shed and a dry place to work, because it was raining that day too. Anyway, so it is what it is, can't do much about it. Good news though, whether I persevere and try to continue to fix the guide next week, hopefully all the parts come for the major front end overhaul, which I need to do before I feel safe driving the car again with those brakes. That rotor, I don't know what happened with that rotor, so because of that reason I haven't really driven the car, I've just left it as is. The rotors have arrived, the new screws have arrived to secure the rotors, but as mentioned, brand new and decent quality too. They're not cheapo certain country copies as such. These are proper Australian made, used, not used, brand new actually, they weren't used at all. They're still, got a bit of weight to them. Yeah, still in their original plastic, still with all the film of oil all over it. So brand new rotors, fantastic. They've arrived. They'll be going on, provide the brake pads arrive next week. The brake pads have a chunk of meat on them. They are still a relatively fresh pad, but because when the rotor dropped, it kind of distorted and wasn't sitting flush because it can move, because that locator bolt's missing. I just don't really know if the pads have worn in a weird way, or I just don't want to risk it basically. And of course, when you do have fresh rotors, you should also have fresh brake pads because the pads have already worn temporarily to the rotors. I don't know how long those pads have been on there for. They look relatively new, but a couple thousand miles, 5,000 miles, anything like that, miles, kilometers, whatever, either way, it can do all sorts of things. So of course, I don't want to really score these ones. I want fresh on fresh. The pads I've got coming are far superior. Those are only cheapo pads on those things. So yeah, at least this all got sorted for the most part. So anyway, really annoying, not much going on, but is what it is. Thank you very much for joining me. As always, like, subscribe, comment below, etc. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbor that just get a garage. It's trying to work outside is a nightmare. Anyway, until next time guys, cheers.